Okay, when I say accounting, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Spreadsheets? Tax forms? Maybe a really quiet room full of calculators? Well, get ready to see it in a completely new light. Today, we're going to explore how accounting is transforming from just a scorekeeper into a powerful strategic weapon for winning in the marketplace. Here's what we're diving into. First, we'll uncover the big blind spot in traditional accounting. Then, we're going to zoom out and look at the entire value chain. After that, we'll open up the Strategic Accounting Toolkit to see the specific techniques people are using, check in on how this all works in the real world, and finally, redefine what accounting's new bottom line really is. So here's the thing. For decades, the core problem with accounting was that it was almost exclusively focused inward. It was all about tracking internal costs, historical performance, getting the numbers right. But in a fast-moving, super competitive world, that's kind of like trying to drive a car by only looking in the rearview mirror. And you can really see the shift right here. Traditional accounting, it's all about internal accuracy, controlling costs you've already spent. But strategic accounting, it completely flips the script. It looks outward, at the market, at the competition, which makes it future-oriented. Its main goal isn't just accuracy anymore. It's to create and hold on to a real competitive advantage. This really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? In a crowded marketplace, just being super efficient with your own operations, well, that's just not enough to guarantee you'll win. You have to understand the entire battlefield. So, how do you actually see that bigger picture? Well, the answer lies in a concept that was championed by the strategist Michael Porter, the value chain. This is the new, wider lens that businesses really need to start using. Think of value chain analysis as a way to literally dissect every single step that brings a product to life. And the real goal isn't just to track your own costs, it's to hunt for opportunities. We're talking chances to be cheaper, better, or just fundamentally different from everybody else. Okay, so first, you have to map out the entire industry. This means understanding the whole system, from the very beginning with raw materials to your suppliers, through your own company, and all the way to the final customer. And the key questions you're asking are, who's capturing the most value here? And where are the hidden leverage points we can use? Then, you zoom right in on your own turf. You break down your internal operations into the key activities that actually create value for your customer. Is it your amazing R&D? Your super efficient production line? Your brilliant marketing? Every single link in this internal chain is a potential source of advantage. So the ultimate goal here is really two things. First, by getting a handle on the whole system, you can manage your costs way more effectively than your rivals. And second, you can find clever ways to reconfigure the value chain itself, maybe by partnering differently with suppliers or finding a new route to market to create a totally unique advantage. All right, so that's the big picture idea. But what does an accountant actually do with all this information? Well, let's open up the Strategic Toolkit. This might sound a little provocative, but it gets right to the heart of the first set of tools we're going to talk about. It's known as Competitor-Focused Accounting, or CFA, and it's all about systematically understanding what your rivals are up to. A researcher named Chris Gilding actually broke this down into 5 key techniques. You can think of it as building a comprehensive intelligence file on your competition. You're covering everything from their costs and their pricing to their overall market position and their strategy. And it turns out, in the real world, one of these techniques is the clear winner: competitive position monitoring. This is where accountants are actively tracking sales data and market share to see exactly how their company stacks up against rivals, basically in real time. It's where accounting and marketing intelligence really come together. Okay, now for another powerful tool that totally flips the script. Instead of the old cost-plus model, where you figure out your cost and then add your profit, this approach starts with the customer and works backwards. It's called target costing. First, you figure out the price the market is actually willing to pay. Then, you subtract the profit margin you need to be successful. Whatever is left over, that's your target cost. It's the absolute maximum allowable cost for the product. Then comes the crucial part. You have to design and engineer the product in all your processes specifically to hit that cost target. It forces innovation and discipline right from the very beginning. This all sounds amazing in a textbook, right? But does it actually work in the messy reality of the business world? Let's take a look at what the research says about how this stuff is actually implemented. And that's a totally fair question. Are executives and accountants really spending their time on this, or is it just some academic fantasy? Well, the evidence suggests it's very, very real. Research has found that, yeah, companies are using these techniques, probably more than you think, especially larger companies that are facing really intense competition. And that competitive position monitoring we just talked about, tracking market share and sales, that one is particularly widespread and seen as incredibly helpful. But, and this is a big but, here's the critical piece of the puzzle. Just knowing about these techniques or buying some fancy software isn't a silver bullet. Success really depends on the environment within the company. More recent research highlights what really makes these strategic accounting practices stick. It's not just the tools, it's the culture. It needs accountants who network and share knowledge, really effective information systems, and a company-wide focus on outcomes, not just processes. And maybe most importantly, it demands deep cooperation between accounting and other departments, especially marketing. So, after looking at the problems, the frameworks, and all the tools, what is the new bottom line for accounting? What's the one big idea you should really walk away with? It all boils down to this fundamental shift in purpose. The job is no longer just about controlling costs. It's about actively participating in the creation of value, both for the customer and for the business. There's this great quote from Schenk and Govindarajan, who were real pioneers in this field, and it just nails it. You can't win by only optimizing your own little piece of the puzzle. A sustainable advantage comes from understanding and influencing the entire system that delivers value to the end user. And that leaves us with one final question to think about. Is the accounting in your world focused inward, just admiring its own reflection in historical reports? Or is it looking outward, at the competitors, at the customers, at the horizon, searching for that next competitive edge? The answer to that question could really make all the difference.